Begin the Quran Daf Mesech Taanis Daf Chav Gimel. Begin 12 lines down at the top of the Yomit. We continue explaining halacha of Mishnah regarding the well-known incident of Chayni Amagal regarding davening for rain. Shit goes past Bekazich and Yecheskel Taanet Daf Achem B'Shem is joining us for today's Daf. Some of these discussed in today's Daf are details about the life and righteousness of Chayni Amagal, including details about his grandchildren. The difference between the righteous men of Bavel and those of Eretz Yisrael regarding how they would pray for rain. Schir is someone who's hired for the day and his time is owned by his employer and he cannot be just doing all his private things at that time. So we begin 12 lines down at the top of the Yomit by the two dots. The Mishnah brought a story that they sent, the Chayni Amagal told them, there's no rain, we need rain. So Torah in the Brisa that elaborates on this story. One time, most of the month of Adar already passed. And this is late into the season. Once it passes Nisan, you're done already. It didn't rain. So they sent the Chayni Amagal. Hispal v'yer dugusham, daven, and let the rain come down. Hispal v'yer dugusham, he daven, it didn't rain. He's like, okay, this is serious business over here. Ag uga bam b'teicha. He made a circle and he stands inside the circle. It wasn't his own idea. This is what Chavakuk, the prophet, did. Shlomo says the pasuk in Chavakuk. It says, Al mishmarti amoida. Chavakuk says, on my station I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand by the siege, which the pasuk there concludes, etc. And I'm going to wait and see. What is he going to speak to me? How's he going to respond to my rebuke? Which is, he's like, okay, I'm making a circle, and I'm fun of. He did the same thing. He said in front of Hashem, Master of the world, your sons, your children, place their face on me. I'm like a household member in front of you, like a child. I swear in your great name, I am not moving from here until you have compassion and mercy on your sons. So the rain started dripping. His student said to him, Rebbe, our teacher, we want to see you and not die. What does that mean to say? Is that please make the attempt that we don't die in the famine because of the rain being held back. It appears to us that the rain's not coming down, only to permit your oath, meaning they don't want you in Shemaim to stay in the circle. So that, okay, it's raining, but that's like a joke, that's like a token type of drops. It's not going to be enough for the amount of rain that we need. So Chayni Amagal says, he says, this is not what I asked. I'm asking for rain that will fill up all the pits and all the caves, etc. You heard the bezaf. So then the rain started coming out with a fury. As we call tipa v'tipa, kemloi picha avos. Every single drop, every droplet of rain was as big as a barrel to fill up a barrel. The Sheikh Chacham and the sages evaluated, there was not a drop of rain less than a loig of wine. You can imagine how much a loig is. We drink a kais, a shalyayin, we make a revius a loig, and 4 times that cup is how much each droplet of rain was. His student said to him, Rebbe, our teacher, again they said, we want to see you and not die. It appears to us that the rain's only coming down to destroy the world. Some of the fun we send in front of Hashem like this. This is not how I asked. I'm asking for rain that's pleasant, that's blessed, the blessing, and that it's willing, it's acceptable. So you have to continue. Then the rain came down in the normal way until all the people had to go up from Yerushalayim to the Temple Mount to the high mountain because there was too much rain. So Amalei said to him, Rebbe, our teacher, just like you daven that the rain should come down, so you should daven that it should leave. Amalei says, no, this is the tradition I have, which continues from the previous daf. You don't daven because there's an abundance of goodness. Now, Avapike, even so, he said, bring me parhoida, bring me a bowl to either make hoida, which is thanks, or like Rashi's words that we have, the years to like make a confession. So he parhoida, they brought him the bowl of confession, and so much and he leaned his 2 hands on it to bring it as a carbon shlam, which Chayni was in the times of the Beis HaMikdash. They said in front of Hashem like this: the B'nai Shalom, master of the world, your people, the Jews that you took out of Egypt, in your chaylim, they can't have liberate teva, not too much good. Liberate put on not too much punishment. Ka'astale, when you get angry at them, they can't tolerate it. Hishpatlim toivu, when you pour on the goodness to them, they can't tolerate it. Maybe the will in front of you, that the rain stop, and that there be expansiveness in the world. So right away the wind stopped, the cloud scattered, and the sun was shining. And the people went out to the field. They already brought truffles and mushrooms, which already came out from the moisture of the rain, and they knew that this was a rain of blessing. So Shimon ben Shetach sent the following message to Chayni. He says, if not for the fact that you were a great person, that you were Chayni, I would have decreed upon you to be excommunicated, because we excommunicate someone who acts disrespectful to the Rav, which obviously that refers to Hashem, which it's not an appropriate way to say, this is not how I asked, this is how I asked. She'ilu, and he says, I'll tell you why this was inappropriate. She'ilu shanim kishnei Eliyahu, because if, let's say, the years would be like the years by Eliyahu and Navi, where there was a decree that there shouldn't be any rain. Why? Hashem gave over the keys of rain to the hands of Eliyahu, and Eliyahu Navi didn't want it to rain. He wanted there to be no rain. So wouldn't have God's name be desecrated because of you? Meaning, Eliyahu Navi swore Chai Hashem by the life of Hashem if this is going to have a year of rain and dew, because he said it's going to be only what I say, and you swore that you're not leaving until there is going to be rain. So there's going to be a Chil Hashem somewhere over here, either by your oath or by Eliyahu's oath. So if it would have been such a thing, either one would have came to a Shvur Shav, to a false oath. You would have created a Chil Hashem. But says, what could I do to you? That you make trouble, like they say, in front of Hashem, like, making trouble. But he does your willing. Keben of like a son who makes trouble for his father. And still the father does whatever the kid wants. The father tells him, how appropriate for a day like today, the Shabbos Chanukah weekend, Abba Tati, take me to the bathhouse with hot water. Take me to the pool to the cool water. Give me nuts, give me shkedim, give me almonds, give me afarsikim, give me peaches. Give me pomegranates, which I'm sure many could fill in 2022 how that would be, obviously, but whatever it is, and he gives him. And he says to you, the pasuk says in Mishlei, your father and mother could rejoice, the sogel yoladetecha, and the one who helped give you birth could be glad, because you can make trouble and still Hashem will listen to you like this favorite child that gets away with everything and he gets what he wants. So we'll learn the Brisa. What did the members of the chamber of hewn stone, which refers to the Sanhedrin, that's who they were, what did they tell Luchanei Magel? So they quote a pasuk in Eiv. It says, V'sigzar oimer, that is a decree that says, V'yakom loch, and it stands for you, V'derechecha noga or, and on your path, it illuminates the light. So that's what the simple translation of the pasuk is, but they darshaned it for Chayni as follows. V'sigzar oimer, they said, Ata gizarta milmata, you decree down here what's going to be. HaKadosh Baruch Hu mekayim ma'amorchem milmata. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sustained your statement above. So that's the sigzir oimer, you decreed, and Hashem took that oimer. And on your path, it will illuminate the light. What does that mean? Dur, so derchecha could be read from the word dur. Dur shahoya afal, the generation that was black, pitch, because of the great pains that it didn't rain. Ha'arta, so that's noga'or, ha'arta bitfilascha, you illuminated with your prayers. Following pasuk says ki yishpilu, because they were lowered, but Tomer gave up. And she said to be uplifted. What does that mean? Dar shal yeshafal, a generation that was low down because of the tzara, higbahate bitfilasecha, that's gave you uplifted it with your prayers. The end of the pasuk says v'shachi naim, and the lowered eyes, Yeshia will have salvation. What does that mean? A generation that was lowered because of its sins, you saved them with your prayer from death, where you brought them the satiation of the rain. Then the pasuk says, Inaki, the one who's not pure is saved. What that means to say is the generation that wasn't pure, that wasn't clean, you saved them with your prayer. The end of that pasuk says, and it's saved in a pit, your palm, what does that mean? Melatasai, that they were saved b'maisiyah haberurin, with your clarified and verified handiwork. That's kapecha, which is because of your maisa yadayim, his tzidkis of yigia kapecha. That's what saved them. I'm going to be Yechanan. Yechanan says a very interesting, well-known story, also with Chayne HaMa'agel, and Rip Van Winkle is lahavdil. This, I don't know where were they coming from, but it says Kol Yamav Shalois Tzaddik. All the days of that righteous person of Chayne HaMa'agel, Chayim Mitzvah Al Mikra Zeh. Interesting pasuk he was bothered by. Pasuk says in Tehillim, which we famously say on Shabbos and other times we say Shir HaMalis, the song of ascents. B'shuv Hashem Hashem Tzion, when Hashem brings back the captives of Tzion, Yinu Kachalmim, we're going to be like dreamers, which, like a dream, is going to be this whole Gullus bubble, which was 70 years. It's going to be like a dream. Hashem's going to take us back, because the Gullus bubble, they were taken in captives, and we're going to take it back. It's going to be like a dream. Somebody said, is there such a thing that someone could have 70 years like a dream? How could someone sleep for 70 years that he's like, the 70 years was like a dream? So so this is a fascinating story. So one day he was going on the road. So he saw a certain person that was planting a carob tree, a boxa bun. Somebody said to him, "Hi, at kamashnin time." He says, "This tree, how long does it take from when you plant it till it starts producing fruit?" So Malay says, "Ad shivin shnin." So Rashi says it doesn't necessarily mean every time like that, but the first time it's going to start carrying fruit, it takes 70 years when you plant the carob tree until it starts producing. Malay says, what's so obvious to you that you can live for 70 years? What are you making investments for 70 years from now? So Malay said to him a very important ethical concept. Hi Gabra, this person may be referring to himself. I found the world with carob trees. So just like my father has planted for me, I'm going to plant for my children. So although he might not see it, but he's going to pass on the goodness that he had. So Yosef, sat down. So he was wrapping bread, meaning he would break bread. He's eating a meal. And he got tired. He dozed off. And so the rocky terrain around him grew around him. And he was covered from human eyes. So no one was able to find him over there because the rocks went and grew around him. And he slept for 70 years. When he got up, he saw a certain person that was harvesting, that was gathering the fruits of the carob tree. So Amalei said to him, are you the one who planted this tree? He says, Amalei, no. He says, Barbara, no. He says, I'm the grandson of that man. Amalei, so he said to him, Shmami, no, oh, Ivei. Obviously, you could infer from this, that I slept for 70 years. Because it takes 70 years. He was there when I was planting it, which was a grandfather, and now he's seeing someone harvesting. So Chaz L'chame, he saw his donkey, the Sialdele Ramke Damke. His donkey had given birth to offspring of offspring in all these years that he was sleeping, because, as Rashi explains, his donkey was a female that was impregnated with a male donkey, which then mated and had children. So this donkey now had generations of children that were just laying around over him. So Azla basically went back home. Amalahu, he said to them, is the son of Chayne HaMa'agel around? Amalei, they said to him, no, Brei Lasa, his son's not around anymore. Brei, he said, but his grandson is around. Amalu, he said to them, Anoch Chayne HaMa'agel, he says, I am Chayne, the circle maker. They didn't believe him. Azla Beis HaMedrash, he went to the Beis HaMedrash. Shmin L'Rabban Dikama, he overheard the rabbi saying, Nehidin Shmeitzen, wow, this teaching is so clear. Ki b'shnei Chayne HaMa'agel, like in the years of Chayne HaMa'agel. When Chayne would come into the Beis HaMedrash, any question the rabbis had, he would answer, and this pshat's mamash like a bog, mamash like Chaim Brisker would say such a word. This is what they were saying. Amalahu, he said to them, Anoniu, I'm Chayne. They knew, they didn't believe him. And they didn't give him the honor that was according to him. So he became insecure, his consciousness became weak, and Boyirachme miss, he beseeched mercy, and he died. And Amar Rava, there's the famous quote, Hain Damar Inchi, Rava says, this is what people say, Chavrusa, Misusa. Or either a friend or death. Which Rashi says that if a friend does not give appropriate honor as it was in the beginning, so it's better for the person to die. That's what Rashi says. Everyone uses it in another context, say if Chavrusa, Misusa, to learn Chavrusa, but as Rashi says, it is, he felt alone. And if you don't have a Chavrusa, and you feel no one really knows or believes who you are, then Misusa, he davened and he died. Now, Gemara continues with the descendants of Chayni. Abba Chilkiah was Barbarei de Chayni HaMagal. He was the grandson, the son of Chayni HaMagal. When the world needed rain, meaning it's Shkevein in the Blitzschein, they knew which Rebbe is the Regen Rebbe. And his Eineklech took over the mantle. So when the world needed rain, so the rabbi sent to him. He would daven, beseech mercy, and the rain would come. Now, Zim B'choda, also an interesting story. One time, the world needed rain. So the rabbi sent a pair of rabbis, dispatch him to the Regen Rebbe, that he should beseech mercy that the rain should come. So they went to his house and didn't find him. So they went to the field. They saw that he was hoeing. He was like a type of a plowing. So they gave him a greeting. And he didn't greet them. He didn't even smile to them. Now, Panya, and towards the evening time when he was starting to go home, when he was taking the wood, so he took the wood and the hoe in one shoulder, and he put his jacket, his cloak, in the other shoulder. Now, the whole journey back home, he didn't wear shoes. When he came to the water, then he put on his shoes. When he came to the thorny bushes with the thistles, so he actually lifted up his garment over his shoulder so that it shouldn't tear on the thorns. When he came to the town, his wife came out to greet him. Now, everyone who's listening to this, don't get nervous, but his wife came out all dressed up to greet him when they got off the parkway, pulling into Tom's River. His wife's waiting over there, all dressed up. When he came to his house, so his wife went into the house first, then he went in. And then the rabbis came in. Okay. The story continues. He sat down and he made hamoitzi. He didn't tell the rabbis, come and eat bread too. Moreover, he gave half of the loaf to the younger child, and he broke the bread for the children. To the oldest son, he gave one. To the youngest son, he gave two. So then he tells his wife like this. He says, Yadana, the Rabbanim Shemitrikos. He says, he whispers to his wife. He says, I know the rabbis are here because they want rain. Basically, hey girl, let's go up to the roof. Let's beseech mercy. Maybe God will be accepting and he'll bring the rain. And then we won't get the thanks for this. We'll beat them to it. We'll go up, make believe we have to go something in the kitchen. We'll go up to daven for the rain, and they won't have to ask us, and we'll make as if it has nothing to do with us. So they went up to the roof. He went to one corner. She went to the other corner. So the clouds came first to the corner of where his wife was. From that direction where she was, that's where the clouds came up first, because she was answered first. When he came down, he said to the rabbis, Am I also Rabban? Why the rabbis here? They said to him, the rabbi sent us to the master to ask for mercy for the rain. He said to them, Baruch HaMakim, Hashem is gebenched. You don't need Abba Chilkiah, look, it's already raining. You see, you don't need me. They said to him, look, we know that the rain came because of the Rebbe. But could the master please explain to us some of these interesting, wondrous things that happened in this whole story? What's the reason when we greeted you, you didn't even smile at us, you didn't even recognize us. He said to them, it says, I am an employee that gets hired for the day. And they says, I'm not going to stop my work. And the word ifker is like the Yomei the Pagre, that the Gemara brings in Shabbos called Chavtes on Beis, which is like the off day, the off Shabbos, that Ramchal talks about Masil Yisharim. If you're an employee, you can't just be talking or texting on your phone. You're saying, you're getting paid for the hour. He says, I can't smile to you. I'm busy doing my job. Okay, they said, what's the pshat? Why did you carry the wood on one shoulder? And you carried your jacket on the other shoulder. Wouldn't it have been better to put the jacket underneath the heavy load that you're carrying? Why would you put your jacket on the other shoulder? If anything, it could lighten the load. It could that wouldn't be rubbing against your shoulder. Someone said to them, no, Tala She'ula Haisa. This jacket was borrowed. Lahachi, to wear it, Shali, I borrowed it. Ulahachi, but to make it ruin with the load that I'm putting on, Lo Shali, for that I didn't borrow it. So that's why I didn't put my thorns and wood on top of that. Okay. What's the reason that the whole time you were walking in the forest, you didn't put on your shoes? When you got to the water, if anything, people take off their shoes when they get to the water, and they don't want to get waterlogged. Why'd you put on the shoes when you went into the water? Well, he said, I'll tell you why. The whole road, I could see what I'm walking on. But when I get to the water, I can't see what's in the water. And maybe a fish, some jellyfish or some snake is going to bite me, and therefore I put on my shoes. Okay. My time, what's the reason? When you get to the thorny bushes, then you pick up your pants, then you pick up your jacket. If anything, you're going to get cut then. If anything, you would want the jacket to block it. He said to them, no, my skin heals. My jacket, once it tears, it doesn't just heal. So I'd rather have my skin tear than the jacket, which it seems like from Rashi that might have been that borrowed also, so I didn't want that to tear. Okay, so they said, my time, what's basically Motamar Lamasa, when the master came back to the town, Nafka the base of the Marki Makashter, did his wife come out all dressed up like she's going to a chasna when you're coming home? Louis said to them, said, my eyes I shouldn't put on another woman, therefore she came and greeted me like that. Okay, they said, my time Ayla Hebrew, why did she go into the house first? And then the master, like a gentleman, came after her. And then we came in after that. So he said to them, because I don't know who you guys are. If you guys are upstanding or prudes, I don't care how you dress, but like the Mishnah says in Derech Eretz Rabbah, you should treat everyone like bandits, which a quote I always say is chabdeu v'chashdeu. You respect people, but suspect them. I don't know. You guys come with long beards. Do I know who you guys are? I'm not letting you guys go behind my way. I let her go first, and then I go, and then you come behind me. Okay, fine. My time, what's the reason? Why is it when the master sat down to eat his meal, why didn't you come invite us to eat? He says, I'll tell you why. We don't have much bread. And I knew you guys are not going to eat, because not enough bread. But you would appreciate that I invited you. I said, I don't want you to give me unearned thanks, which I knew you're not going to partake of the meal. And therefore I shouldn't have a thanks for nothing. Okay, my time of Yov Marli Yanuka Kashisha Choda Rifta. Why did the master give, when he was splitting the bread for the children, did he give to the older son one bread, but a zutra tray, and to the younger one two? He said to them, hi, the elder son, Koi Bebesa, he's home all day. But hi, the younger son, Yasabeh Kanishta, he's still by the Malamed. He's by his Rebbe, and he didn't come home all day, he didn't get to eat, and therefore, I'm going to give him now double, because the kids complain, oh, how come Chaim, they were all from school today, I didn't get anything, right? And then they say, come on, oh, okay, and he gives him double to make up for what he missed. Okay, my time of Kadim Siluk Anani Mahach Zivsa. Why did it happen that the clouds came up first from the corner of the Habas Kaim of the base of the Mar, where the master's wife was, the Anana Day, before the clouds that came to your side? It says, because my wife is home all day. And if a pauper needs something, she goes and she gives it to him. She can give a piece of bread to the pauper, and the pleasure is more immediate for the pauper because she gives a food item which has no effort. Whereas me, I give tzedakah, I give the poor person money till he goes to the stove. I know you have the zuzah, I give him money, but it's not such immediate pleasure, and therefore she gets a greater reward. Or Yinami, another reason why the clouds came to her first than to me is because Hani Bar Yuni, there were these empty, lawless type of people that was in our neighborhood. I know Boyer Achmed de Lemisu says, I die, they should drop dead. But she, my wife, she's more righteous. She davened that they should be chozeh b'tshuva. And they did, and therefore that's her merit more than mine. I just got upset and said, let them just drop dead. And she said that they should do tshuva, which they did. So those are two reasons why the clouds came first to her. Now, continue with another Einikel. This is all in the clan. Chanan HaNechba was his name. Bar Berdate the Chayne Magal. He was also a grandson of Chayne Magal. Ki mitzvach amal mitra, when the rabbis needed rain. So what they would do is, they would actually send school children. I guess the kid that's not learning so well, you want him to get, hey, do me a favor, go to Chayne, not the Chayne, but his grandson. But the reason why they sent school children was to soften his heart, and that he should have more kavanah when he's davening. And v'nakdile b'shipuli glimi, they would pull him by the bottom of his garment. Normally they would tell him, Abba, Abba, Tata, Tata. That's how they used to call him, like an orphan calls father, father. Havla mitra, give us rain. Some of them so he sent in front of Hashem, Rebbein Shalom, ask the world. Do it for these little children. They don't recognize between a father that gives rain, to a father that doesn't give rain. Like they think like I'm their father, like I can give rain. And his heart was softened because of the children. Now, why do they call him Chan HaNechba? Because he would conceal himself in the bathroom. Rashi says not to have the gears in the bathroom. Rather, when it means that he concealed himself was that when he had to daven for the rain, he would hide himself because of great humility that they shouldn't see his davening. Or Rashi says, but if the girsa is in the bathroom, it means that with his garments, that he would cover himself because of modesty. There is halachas of modesty when someone goes to the bathroom, that not just to drop trousers down to the bottom of the floor, there is halachas about how a person is supposed to be covered. So that's two different interpretations of why he was called Chan HaNechba. Now, Amalei Reb Zirkel of Safra. So Tochazi says, come and see the difference. Mabei Tkifi Da'ar Yisrael. Generally, the ones in Eretz Yisrael, they had tkifas. They're very steifer. You come to this Ruv and he gives you like, not giving you the extra time. He's straight up. He's direct, and that's how the Gedolim Eretz Yisrael were. The Chassidei de Bavel, whereas in Bavel they were more pious, they were more friendly and opening. But he says you'll see the difference that the Chassidei Bavel they publicized, they did in public. But in Eretz Yisrael, which is related to the Pshat of Chan HaNechba, that he would conceal it, that's so they were more modest, more discreet, and they wouldn't let people know that the rain is coming because of them. Where do you find this? Chassidei de Bavel were Rav Huna and Rav Chisda. Now, when the world needed rain, Amri they said, Nichnev Hadodi v'nibay rachmi. They said, let everyone get together and let's beseech mercy. Now, so you see that they did in public and not discreetly. Another interpretation actually is that because they said Lichnef Hadodi, you see that because of only one of them, it wouldn't be enough for the rain to come. You see, they needed them all together to gather. So they said, let's gather together and beseech mercy. Maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be appeased and the rain's going to come. Whereas the Kivid are the Yisrael, but the Shtaifa ones of Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Yomi, who was Avud Ramani, Rabbi Yomi was the father of Ramani, where we see both interpretations. One is that the rain came even just for him himself, didn't have to gather others with him. And also we see in the storyline that he did it discreetly. So that would be the two interpretations of the difference between Takif and Yisrael, that they did it by discreetly and they did it by themselves, whereas the Chassid Bubble, they did it with many and they did it out in the open. Where when the world needed rain, have Ayla Bese. He would go into his house. When he told his family members, give me a sack. And I'm going to go and bring for a zuz, I'm going to go get ibur. I'm going to try to get some grain because there's a famine. Now, but when he would go outside, meaning because like Rash says, he wouldn't even let his family members know. He would go into the phone booth and he would switch into the no, that would be different type of superhero, but no one knew who he was. He went outside. Also, he didn't really go to the store. He went into a very deep place. Like it says a passage in Tehillim. From the depth I call out to you, Hashem. And he went into a discreet place. And that sackcloth, which he said he needs a shopping bag, he actually didn't take it to get produce. He actually put on that sackcloth. And he beseeched mercy. And then the rain came. Basically, when he would come home, the family member said, Tati, I see my brother. Did you bring some grain that you wanted to buy? We said to them, I said, look, since it already is raining, now there's already going to be expansiveness in the world. There's going to be enough, and therefore I said, why should I buy now at the high prices with this famine going on? I'll say but later, but really again, it was all because of him that he went and he died. Now, Vesu, moreover, the money, his son, the money, have a kometzarle debei nesia. The members of the Nasi's household were bothering him. So he went and he spread himself out over the grave of his father. And Amalei said to him, Abba, Tata, Hani mitzarli li. These people are paining me. So Yom Echad, what happened one day is is that the members of the Nasi's household were passing by Hassam over there above the Ma'ara, the cave of where Rabbi Yomi was buried. And Inkid Karadisis was Sayu. The legs of their horses got stuck in the ground above the cave of this kavura, of this kever, and they couldn't move from the place. The Kabila allowed until they accepted upon themselves they're not going to pain anymore his son Ramana. Soon, moreover, Ramana have a shechir kamid Rabbi Yitzchak ben Elyashiv. Ramana would frequent in front of Rabbi Yitzchak ben Elyashiv. Amalei said to him, Atiri de Beichami says the wealthy members of my shver, of my father-in-law's household, kumatzarli. Says my brother-in-laws, all these hotshots, all these guys, they're the fancier crowd than the other ones, they're bothering me. Amay said, okay, liani, let them become paupers. Liani, and they all lost their money. Everyone lost stock market, whatever. They all became poor. So Amay comes back and he says, but kadachli. Now they're pressing me to give them. They already live these high lifestyles. Now they're all bothering me. They want to get money from me because I'm the only one that didn't lose the money. So Amay says, la'atru. Okay, let them become wealthy again. V'atru, and they became wealthy. Which time, as you see a few of these stories, that the important lesson is don't think that the other situation can be any better, that what's bothering you now because they're wealthy when they became poor is also tzara. So let them become wealthy. Somebody says, inchi basi. Says my wife is not accepted by me, meaning she's not beautiful. So I'm not really okay with her. Somebody said to her, Mashma, what's her name? She says Chana. She says, okay, tisyapi Chana. Let Chana become beautiful. V'nisyapis, and she became beautiful. Amalei, then he came back to me, he says, Komagandiralai. So now she's horny over me. She's old as pretty woman, and now she thinks she's the hot shot and everything like that, and now she's too much for me. So Amalei says, let Chana go back to her blackness. She went back being homely again. Again, don't think that other situations can be any better, that the grass is not always greener on the other side. Hana Trey Tamid have a kaimid to Rabbi Yashav. There were these two students that were in front of Rabbi Yashav. Amr Lay, they said to him, let the master daven for us that we should become very smart. Amr said to them, Imi Haisa, said this thing, I did have this ability at one point, that whatever I would ask would be given to me, which I could have asked that for you to become wise, but Vishalachte, but sent it away, and now my tefillos are not so accepted at this point right now, which the Bach adds on the words in Rashi. It's really that he did not want to be matriach in front of Hashem, such a thing, to make these people wise. That's what he said, and he says, and that's how he let them go. Thank you to any time for hosting us.